A very good evening, everyone. I welcome all of you to today's lecture. I hope everyone's doing good, and yes, it feels amazing to meet all of you after so long, so long. So, a very good evening and a very hearty big welcome to today's lecture. So, in total, we shall have about 5 to 6 classes for essay writing. Now, this is the first time I'm meeting you on this platform specifically for essay writing. Although I have taken up essay, I think this was last year for one of our batches, but then that was in Hindi medium. So for me, meeting this batch for English medium is definitely happening for the first time. So I hope before we can begin our conversation, am I audible? Am I visible? Somebody just mentioned that my voice volume is slightly on the lower side. Could this be because of your setting? Or can I believe that everything is perfect? All right, wonderful, thank you. Right. So I welcome everyone who's joining. And as you know, we are here to talk about UPSC essay writing. Now, very interestingly, essay is the most misunderstood aspect of UPSC paper. Okay. Why is it so misunderstood? The reason is that we have been taught to think in a certain way right from childhood, right from school days. In schools, we meet different teachers for English, for Hindi. Same thing happens in college for those who select, say, for example, literature, language. Now, what happens? There are a lot of myths that are circulating around essay writing. And that's the biggest problem with essay. This is the only segment of UPSC paper which actually is very easy, which actually is very manageable. In fact, it's very enjoyable. It should be enjoyable to everyone. If you ask me, students should be very excited for the essay paper. They should actually enjoy writing an essay. But how many times have you seen people enjoying essay writing? Never. In fact, as far as my interaction with my students go, usually they express a lot of concern about essay writing. They are very, very worried. They tell me that it's easier to write GS answers because we can learn them, we can remember them. But essay is not fine. Why? Because there is nothing to learn. Essay is always like a surprise. We do not know what topic comes along. Sometimes the topic is very difficult to even understand. Most people will relate to me if they have looked at the previous year questions of UPSC English essay writing. They would agree that in the last 4 to 5 years, more specifically, I have noticed from 2016 onwards, the topics that UPSC has been giving in essay paper are all very, very abstract and they are very, very philosophical in nature. Will you agree or would you like to differ with me? Has anybody ever seen PYQs, previous year questions of essay? Yeah? Have you ever had a look at those papers? Have you ever seen interviews of any students who passed the exam or students who are still writing the paper? Yeah, you will agree. Absolutely. We all will agree that most of the topics that are coming in the essay paper right since 2016 are so philosophical in nature. And I think that's the reason why students are very conscious about it. They're very anxious about it. They are not getting the confidence at all because first they feel it is a surprise. You do not know which topic will come up suddenly. Excuse me. Reload. Okay. So I was told that there is some echo in the voice. I'm reloading the session. Bear with me for a second, okay? Are things fine now? Could you just confirm if the echo has gone? Am I audible? Is everything perfect? Wonderful. Seems perfect. Okay, thank you. Now, so that's one reason most people are scared about essay writing because whenever I speak to my students, I tell them you should enjoy essay writing. Is it not something where you can express yourself? Does it not make you feel free? Does it not give you the sense of liberty? And they say no. I say why? And they say that because topics are so absurd. How can we write something on mathematics and its importance to civilization? How can we write an essay on minimalism and its values and its value in life? What should we write in a topic like joy is the simplest form of gratitude?
Or how can we write an essay on a topic which says that ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what it is meant for? So these are the kind of topics which are so, you can say, abstract, and they are so undefinable that most students worry what to write. Okay, so this has been happening from 2016 onwards. So therefore my agenda in all these 5 lectures is going to be very clear. Let me just tell you the agenda. And now to the fact that those of you who are writing prelims in 2024, should they take this lecture? Absolutely, I leave it on you. If you think your revision is going on, you have spare time, definitely you can be here. But then if you, this is your study time and you have to study, there is so much to do, I'm sure, then please come back later. Right now you should focus on prelims. Okay, honestly talking, you should focus on prelims. So definitely you can excuse yourself, please study for the prelims. Okay, we can do essay some other time, no problem. Right, so now for those of you who aren't writing this year, what shall we discuss in this lecture, or in these lectures, total 5 of them or 6 of them? The first thing that we are going to talk about is, I want to clarify what is essay writing, because we think we know, but in reality, about 80% students would not know. It's natural. Nobody really understands what is an essay. That's why we are so worried about it. So, one thing, let's understand what do we mean by essay writing. Second thing, if essay writing is all about freedom and liberty, then why? Since childhood, people are telling us things like essay needs to have data, essay needs to have quotations, you have to put a lot of statistics in your essay, because if you do not write data or government data or statistics or quotations of famous people, your essay becomes poor. It's not good quality. Now, this is something that is absolutely false. It is a very big myth which has been created for some reason. So, I really want to have a myth busting session where I shall tell you what all misconceptions are there which are prevailing in the domain of essay writing. Now, the next agenda we shall have is, we will talk about what is the meaning of two type of essay writing. In UPSC, we are expected to have two kind of essay writing. One is supposed to be issue based and the other is supposed to be philosophy based. So I shall clarify to you what is philosophy and what is issue based. Plus, the question that why UPSC has started giving most philosophy topics from 2016. Some people say because they really want to make the exam challenging. Some people say because they deliberately want to confuse the students, but none of this is true. In reality, it's a very different reason. So, here in the first lecture itself, I will tell you the reason behind UPSC's insistence on philosophy more than issue. That's one thing we are going to talk about. And then we shall talk about the right structure of essay writing. It's very funny that on the one hand, essay is about freedom. It's all about, if I ask you which article of the Constitution talks about the right to freedom of expression, right? You all will say that, yeah, it is your Article 19 that relates to right to freedom, and there you have all sorts of freedom. So you do have a right to free speech and expression in this country, don't you? Yes, you do. But at the same time, an essay, yeah, absolutely, 19 clause 2. So this also is the same thing. An essay completely ratifies the right to be free to say what you want, to discuss what you like. You can absolutely treat an essay like your personal space. Now, I don't know if any of you is in the habit of doing journaling or diary writing. So maybe in our generation, we are not writing so much because we are into social media. But then until our parents' generation, in fact, if you ask them sometimes, most people would sit and write a diary. They would do a lot of journaling. In there they would write their experiences, what they like, their perceptions. It was a beautiful hobby, actually. It gives you a freedom to express yourself. It also enables you making better sentences. It improves your writing capacity and all of that, whatever. But that was all about freedom. Nobody else is going to read that. It's very personal. An essay is pretty much like that. I know examiner is going to read it, but it is something that examiner wants you to explore. There are no rigid rules regarding an essay. You can just write what you feel like within the boundaries of, you can say, uh, correctness, within the boundary of ethics. You can write anything that you wish for. But it is also true that essay follows a specific structure of writing. Within this structure, you can write anything. So let me put it this way: content is your wish, it is very, very personal. You can write what you like. But structure, now, content and structure are two different things. Structure means in what pattern should you write, in what order should you write. Content means what exactly are you writing. So content is absolutely personal. You can write what you feel. Of course, you have to observe certain limits of decency and ethics. That's a different thing. Structure is fixed here. Every essay has to follow a specific structure, whether it's formal, whether it's informal. It should follow this structure. Here we are dealing with formal and informal narrative, all kinds of essay writing, but you have to follow a specific structure here. So we are going to talk about what is this IBC structure. Apart from the IBC structure, the main agenda behind this 5-day lecture series is to teach you a fixed plan. Now, you might be surprised, what plan am I talking about? Now, I have noticed that most of the time students are struggling on basic things like how should I start writing? Even before that, which topic should I select? That's the first thing. Which topic should I choose? Is it easy to write on philosophy or is it easy to write on issue based? Second thing, how is an essay different from a GS paper answer? These are doubts, I'm sure, which bother most people. How to select the topic? What's the difference between a GS answer? For example, GS paper 3 can talk about climate change. Essay can also talk about climate change as a topic. GS paper 4 can talk about ethics and values. So can an essay. Then what's the difference between them? That's something we need to know. Third thing, every time I start writing an essay, I have to really think that how should I start, what should come in the middle part, and how should I end my essay. If I have certain quotations in mind, where can I throw in these quotations? Is there a right spot where I can put in data? In fact, is it mandatory to put in some data here? Or can I just make it a flowy narrative? So these are questions which really nag students, that how and what should be my writing pattern. How can I start? How can I end? Can I write something personal or do I have to be fixated upon facts? Agreed? I'm sure you agree these are the most bothering problems about essay writing. So that's the reason I'm here. So I am not here to just tell you that, guys, read as many books as you can. Read as many articles as you can. Essay is personal, so I am not going any forward. I will just tell you IBC and Tata bye bye. Rest is up to you. No, I'm not here for that formality. The reason I'm here is that although essay is freedom, but here in this platform, in this lecture, my agenda is to make you a master of essay writing. And how will you master essay writing? The day you know that you don't have to think at all. Somebody has already made a ready made template for you. For example, if I give you a piece of cotton and I say, can you please make yourself a dress out of this? Can you stitch a shirt? You will be like, oh my God, I don't know how to stitch. It's so difficult. I have to learn. But if I say, here is a ready made shirt, just select the size and you are good to go. You can wear what you like. You will be like, wow, this is the way life should be, easy and comforting. So that's the agenda behind this lecture. I'm going to give you a ready made template of essay writing. When I say ready made template, what I'm trying to say is that after these lectures, you do not have to think on essay writing at all. I will give you step by step by step. Within introduction, I will tell you 4 steps. I will talk about that. Within body, I will tell you different kind of formats. In conclusion, I will tell you different kinds of format. Okay, it looks very mathematical and formula based. It's very interesting. All you need to do is to learn this format by heart. That's it. The way I tell you, just learn it like that. Next time, whatever topic comes on the planet, it could be minimalism, it could be joy, it could be India's nuclear power and its nuclear aspiration, it could be population, it could be climate change, it could be women empowerment. You will never have to struggle again. All you will have to do is to fill up this template and you will get good marks, that's for sure. That's a promise that I'm giving you. This fixed template shall be given to you. And one more promise. By the end of the last lecture, for those who are here and who have taken the lecture seriously, you will love essay writing, you will wait for the essay paper, you will get good marks here, and this is going to be a strong part. That's a commitment I'm giving you. So, are we ready to proceed now? with all this promise and all this positivity? Can I now start officially essay writing? Yes, yes. If you have completed your GS portion, kindly please start with your essay. Yes, you can do that. Correct. Wonderful. So now, step by step, let's proceed forward and we will start from scratch. Okay, if you want to talk about something, if you want to discuss something, just go ahead. Yeah, I know. Classes were delayed. Even I was not there. So it's a long time no see. But now that I'm here, back to back, we'll have classes. Don't worry. No, no. Essay is a compulsory paper. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Okay. Yeah, you will love essay. It's my promise to you. And there's one more promise. Let me make it. Let me make it. There's one more promise. Today, most of you might be thinking issue based essay is far more easy. It's better to write on climate change and women empowerment. It's much better to write on pollution and population. It's very difficult to write on philosophy. It's very difficult. By the end of this lecture, you will become a changed person. If I ask you, what do you prefer? Would you prefer philosophy or issue based? You will say, I would prefer philosophy. You will love to write philosophy, and every time you get the essay topic, you will choose philosophy. That's my promise. Now, how this magic is going to happen, it's for you to see. Okay, we'll start. By the end of the last lecture, I will ask you, was I right? Honestly, reply me, and I will read your reply, correct or not. Sure, let's start now. Yeah, I know your webinars are pending. I'm there now. We'll take all the webinars. Don't worry. I'll make up everything. I'll cover up everything for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Sure. Let's begin. So here, let's first understand the nature of the paper, okay? It's your wish. Absolutely, it's up to you. If you would like to make notes, running notes, if it makes you feel more related to the subject, go ahead. But there's no compulsion. This PPT is very, very comprehensive. It's very detailed. So you'll find everything. I'm extremely apologetic for the email part because I'm having some glitch. I'm not able to receive most of the emails. That will be rectified shortly. So I was not here. So it's been 2-3 weeks I wasn't able to work really. So now that I'm back, everything is kind of disabled right now. My access to office, my thumbprint and my email, I'm having some problems. It's a technical glitch. It will be rectified. So as of now, I haven't got any mail as such, but they will appear, they will come, and I will reply. Don't worry. Okay, fine. I will give my ID also. Don't worry. Let's begin officially now. Right? So I will give. Pakka at the end of the lecture, but now you focus first, okay? I am not sure about the timetable. That I don't know. I'll ask and I'll let you. Fine. Even if you haven't completed, it's okay. You can still have the lecture. Okay. Starting with UPSC essay. Now, let's see why is essay so important to UPSC exam. So now, first thing is that you know that in your mains you have various kind of subjects. Let's say UPSC is a long journey. There is a prelims, we all know that. There is a mains exam, we all know that. And of course, those people who pass all of these stages will have to appear for the interview. Okay. Now, talking about mains, you know, you have GS paper 1 and CSAT, what we were studying today in the morning also. These are both objective kind of papers, but it's a screening test. Once you qualify for the prelims, you know that you are eligible to write your mains. Now, mains is not objective, you know, it is subjective and a written exam. You have to write answers to questions here. It is not objective but subjective. Now, in the mains also, there are some papers which are compulsory. When I say compulsory, it means the marks that you get in these papers will be added in your final score. They will impact your ranking. And there are some papers which are just qualifying, which means you just have to pass them. Their marks will not contribute to your final ranking if you get selected. Let me tell you which ones are compulsory and which are just qualifying. Now, UPSC mains exam always starts with two language compulsory papers. Now, please listen carefully. UPSC mains. If you pass the prelims, you write the mains. Mains will always start from two papers. These are called paper A and paper B. Both these are language papers. Paper A is Indian language paper. In Indian language, you can choose your language from any language that's mentioned in the 8th schedule of Honorable Indian Constitution. It is a list of 22 languages. You can pick any one that you like. Similarly, paper 2 is a compulsory English language paper. It is same for all the aspirants. Both these are compulsory and qualifying, which means in both these papers, both of them carry 300 marks each. In these papers, you have to pass by getting a minimum score 75 out of 300 and 75 out of 300. Marks that you get will not be added in your final. They will not be added because these are qualifying. Just like CSAT. In CSAT also, whatever marks you get, they don't add up later. But still you have to pass it because it's compulsory. Similarly, paper A and B will be the first two papers of mains, and these both are compulsory and they are qualifying. You need to pass in both of them separately by getting 75 out of 300 in A and 75 out of 300 in B. Yes, in paper A, you can make a choice. English is not there. It is hard, fixed. It is an Indian language paper. Only Indian languages, Hindi can be taken. Apart from that, any other language can be taken as per the constitution. In paper B, you can only take English. It is mandatory to take English. Correct? CSAT passing marks, out of 200, you have to get 66. Paper A and B, out of 300, 75, 75 each. Correct? Passing papers. Now, once you write paper A and paper B, you will then start writing other papers such as your GS paper 1 to GS paper 4. Right? You know all of that? For example, when you talk about one, you will write, say, social issues you will be taking up. You will be taking up history. You will take up some portions of polity, IR. Similarly, you go to paper 2. Again, you will take up all different subjects that are listed there. Paper 3, you will take up ecology, economics. Paper 4, ethics. Correct? All the GS papers will be there. After that, you will also have to take 2 papers of your optional subject. Whatever is your optional, geography, history, polity, sociology, psychology, whatever. Correct? Apart from the 2 optional papers, you also have to write 1 compulsory. This is not passing. This is not passing. This is compulsory. You have to write 1 compulsory essay paper. Okay? Essay exam paper. Please remember, it is very important because the marks that you get here, 250 marks are there for this paper, and they are added to your final score. They will be added in your final. They will impact your ranking. Most of the toppers, they have got sometimes even 137, 140, 147 also out of 250. They always have an edge because if you write a good essay and you pull your marks here, it will improve your ranking definitely. Essay is a compulsory paper. Don't be confused. CSAT is not compulsory, it is only qualifying. You have to write it, but you have to get only passing marks. CSAT marks are not added. Paper A and B marks not added, but other papers, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, optional, essay, everything is added to your final. Please remember. So it's a very critical paper. You have to get as many marks as you possibly can. Try to get very good marks here. It will help you in getting a good rank. Agreed? This is essay paper. Now, if in essay paper you just saw that you have total 250 marks that are allocated to this paper, then let's see the structure of this paper. In this essay paper of 250 marks, you can easily get up to 150. Sometimes there are people who have got 165 also. Definitely you can get. With good practice, with good preparation, it's not difficult. You can get. Now, if essay paper carries 250 marks, how many essays are we supposed to write? Now, please listen carefully. This entire 250 marks paper is divided into 2 parts. Let me show you how it looks like. Wait. See, look here. Can you see the picture over here? Can you see the picture over here? Is this visible to everyone? If it is yes, then please have a look at this. This is how the essay paper looks like. Okay, this is the UPSC paper, final paper. This paper is divided into 2 segments. It is not very clear. That's what I'm asking. Can you see it or not? Let me explain also. Or you can Google also. Essay paper, how does it look like UPSC? It is divided into 2 sections. Section A and Section B, correct? Total, how many marks does it have? 250 marks total. It is divided into 2 segments, A segment and B segment. In A segment, they will give you 4 topics, 1, 2, 3, 4. In B segment also, they will give you 4 topics. For example, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total, how many topics are they giving you? 8 topics total. 250 marks, total 8 topics. But how many are you supposed to write? You are supposed to write only 2 essays in this paper. They are giving you a very big choice actually. Very big choice. It's a vast choice. Only 2 essays you will write. And how will you choose the topic? The topic can be chosen such as you have to pick up 1 topic from each segment. That's compulsory. For example, in section A, you have 4 topics. You can choose any one from here. Similarly, in segment B, section B, you can choose any one from here also. Total, there are 2 topics. You have to choose one from each. One from each segment. You can't choose 2 from 1. It is not allowed that you don't like section A, so you wrote on 2 topics from section B. No, they will not consider your paper. It's not allowed. If you don't like section B, you will write on 2 topics from section A. Not allowed. You have to choose. This is a rule of UPSC. One from each segment has to be taken. Why? You might wonder, why do they do this kind of a differentiation? Why? One thing is, it is a very psychological impact that it has on a human. Because when you have to choose one from each segment, you feel that a kind of pressure builds in. You feel that maybe because section B is more tough than section A, or you might feel maybe section B is philosophy and section A is issue based. It's nothing like that. It's just a way they have organized the paper. There's no much logic behind it. You have to choose one from each segment, one from section A, one from section B. So total, how many essays will you write? You have to write only 2 essays. Okay, total marks 250, which means every essay here has to carry 125 marks. There is no difference. No difference at all. Okay, I'll talk about everything. Don't worry. Now that you are here, you are my responsibility. Your essay is my responsibility. I'll clarify all of that. How long should I take? How should I choose the topic? Can I underline? Can I highlight? Can I write quotations? Where should I write quotations? Can I decorate my paper? Can I use a blue or a black pen? I know so many doubts are there. We'll talk about everything. Don't worry. Don't worry. So total marks are 250, correct? Now you understood you have to write just 2 essays, one from section A, one from section B. Okay, so eight topics are there, 4 in each section. You have to write 2 by taking 1 topic from each section, correct? Every essay here will carry 125 marks. 125 into 2, total marks 250. Having said that, now, what is the word limit of this essay? How long should my essay be? Now, this is where students get confused. So please listen carefully. Listen to me very carefully for another 2 minutes, please. Listen. Here in the UPSC essay mains paper, okay, you have to write 2 essays, 125 marks each. And every essay here will be approximately from 1000 to 1200 words. Are you scared after listening this? 1000 to 1200 words per essay, or each essay has to be 1000 to 1200 words, correct? So total, 1000 to 1200 words, yes. So total, how many words are we supposed to write? So total, you have to write a lot actually. So total, you have to write around 2400 to 2500 words essay. Total, if you see, how much will you write? 2500. Is that too much? Is that too much to ask for? Are you scared? Psychologically, your hand is paining, or what's happening? Pages, okay. It's less than GS. Yeah. So here you have to write 1 essay. No, don't be scared. I was just joking. 1 essay is 1000 to 1200 words, total around 2500 words. Now, talking about pages. Now, page is a very abstract measurement, because everybody has a different writing style. Some people leave a lot of space, they write in a very big font. Some people leave a lot of lines in between. Some people leave a separate space for quotation marks. So it's very variable. There's no definite answer to that. But on an average, if you see, about 1200 words, nobody writes 1200 words, because 1200 is an upper limit. Never confuse yourself with the upper limit. Okay, the concept of upper limit is that you should not exceed 1200 words. Don't go beyond that. It becomes too lengthy. But it doesn't mean that you cannot write lesser than that. Definitely you can. When an exam tells you that limit is 1000 to 1200 words, it means anything between 900. Anything between 900 to 1200 words is normal. It's acceptable. It is totally, totally fine. There is no pressure. You can write two essays for 1800 words also. That's completely all right. Never try to cross the upper limit. Always upper limit has to be observed. Lower limit is not a problem. It can vary, it can fluctuate. That's fine. Talking about pages. Now, if I am writing 1000 words for one essay, approximately, given the fact that one page could accommodate, say, 250 to 270 words, we can break it down in such a way that four four sides, I think 4 to 5 sides, so total about 3 pages, 3 complete pages. Talking about sides, if a book is like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, probably that much, 3 complete pages, or around 5 to 6 sides. That's all. Now, never really believe that those who write longer, those who write more pages, get good marks. It's not like that. Now, please trust me, UPSC is a very quality conscious exam. It would never give you marks on the basis of how much you're writing. In fact, the lesser and the more systematic and the more logical you write, the more marks you get. Normally, in my experience, the students of mine who just write, they are the ones who always lose the track of the topic also. I never encourage long answers. In fact, when I teach social issues and sociology, there's one thing I always get very worried about is that most students are unable to observe time word limit. So if a question is 150 words, they want to just write everything they know. Rather, instead of 150 words, they write 300 words. It doesn't help really. So please try to reduce the desire to write long and long. You will not get marks for writing 10 pages. No. You will get marks only for a good essay. Even if it's 900 words, it's absolutely okay. Right? So don't have the practice of overwriting. Overwriting is as bad as not writing. It's a very bad thing. Examiner has a very poor impression of those people who write too much. Students think that. Maybe it happens in some PCS exams. I don't know. I cannot comment on that because I don't teach for PCS. But I have heard from some of my students, they come and they complain that, ma'am, in state PCS, it's all about how long can you write. And my friend wrote 20 pages and he got selected and stuff like that. So I really don't know. I can't comment on that. But for UPSC, nothing of that sort happens. The more logical you write, the more marks you get. It's never about the length, it's always about the quality. So please don't overwrite. It really spoils the impression. When I check answers, I get also very upset about the fact that for 150 words, if somebody is writing 400 words, there is no clarity. Naturally, there is no clarity. That's why you are compensating for lack of knowledge by writing and writing. So don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Control the urge of writing extra. Write what is needed. Don't waste your time and the examiner's time. So when I say 900 words, you should be able to finish in 2.5 complete pages or 3 complete sheets. 1, 2, 3 page. In terms of sides, 6 maximum or 5.5. That's enough. Having said that, 1200 is an upper limit. You don't have to reach that much. If you can wind up within 1000, it's good for you. Now, if your limit exceeds 1200, if it is within 1250, 1260, 1270, not a problem. Maybe if it exceeds more than that, the examiner could give you less marks. It could spoil the impression. It would mean that somewhere you have broken the rule of the exam. So all those things can happen. Okay. No. You will have separate exams. You cannot have 2, 3 papers on the same day. They will arrange it very systematically. You will have enough time between exams and you will have only one or max 2 exams in a day. It doesn't happen like 3 exams a day. That doesn't happen. Okay. Is that clear? Having said that, now you know there is a word limit. You have to respect that word limit. Upper limit. Lower limit is flexible. Upper limit has to be respected. Also, total time that you get here is a period of 3 hours. And when I say 3 hours, what do you mean by that? 3 hours for 2 essays would mean you have to very, very smartly allocate your time in such a manner that you are able to give 1.5 hours to each essay. Okay. Normally, what most students end up doing, for the first essay, they take 2 hours. And then For the second essay, there is hardly any time left, and then they just write in a hurry. The content suffers, and sometimes they can't complete the paper. It also happens. Why? Because time management is very critical here. When you know there are just two essays to write and there's just a 3 hour time, then you must allocate it very smartly. The first essay is the one which always takes longer. Second essay always takes less time because you have no time left. So it's very, very important to strategize your first essay on time. Second essay will be easier. First essay is always a challenge. If you can finish it within time, second essay will also be good. Okay? Most students write the first one better and spoil the second one. Okay? No, no, no. There's no gap in between. This is one paper, one essay paper with two parts, with two questions. There is no gap here. It is all practice. It is all practice. How will you come to know that that my word limit is exceeding? So if you ask me personally, what I know is that my style of writing, my font, my gapping, my spacing, for me, one side of a single lined rule paper or a blank paper, but just one normal size side of a booklet, of a notebook, for me around 280 or 300 words can accommodate on one side. How I know this? I know about myself because once or twice after writing I have to count. Obviously that's how I learn. Eventually with practice you come to know that how many words are you able to fit in one side. That's all practice eventually, because if you do not practice, normally what people say, at least 4 essays you should write before the mains exam, which means final and properly. When it comes to practice, you must explore topics, because if you don't practice 4 or 5 essays at least, then in the final time, on the final day, you will have a problem because you don't know how to track your word limit, you don't know how to track your time. So that comes with practice. Yes, yes, you can do that. That's not a problem. Word limit counting will come with practice. There is no magic here. When you write something on your own, it's not a quotation, it's a thought. You can definitely, the whole essay is your quotation only. What is your quotation? What do you mean by quotation? Quotation is indirect speech when you are quoting somebody else. Correct? Now, you can't have your own quotation because everything you are saying is original to you. That's your quotation. So, quotation happens only when you are quoting someone else. Your whole essay is your own creation. So, that's your own quotation. You can write your thoughts. Okay? Exception word. Now, what does that mean exactly? Could you just clarify a little bit? Right. Okay. So, what do we understand so far? So far, we know it's a 3 hour exam. It's one exam where you have to write 2 essays by picking up one topic from every segment. There are 2 sections, section A, section B, 4 topics in A, 4 topics in B. You will take one topic from A, one topic from B, anything that you like as per your liking, taste, your fascination, your desire. Take up whatever you want, no compulsions. Once you choose the topic, there is a 3 hour time. In 3 hour time, you have to write both these essays, one from A, one from section B. Overall word limit should be around 900 to 1200. If you ask my opinion, I would say do not write more than 1000. Finish it within 1000. It's enough. It's more than enough. So 900 to 1000 should be the ideal word limit for you. That will also save you time. That will also make your essay interesting to read. Don't make it boring and lengthy. Correct? That much is clear to everyone. Each essay will carry 125 marks, which means total paper has 250 marks. Is there a concept of negative marking? No, we don't know. No, we don't know. One question answer 1000 words. No, no, this is not a question. This is an essay topic. An essay, you don't say it's a question. It's a topic. It's a topic. It's not like a GS question. GS questions are maximum how many marks? 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks, because there you are writing a pinpointed fact. It's factual. Essay is not factual. Essay is your feeling. They can't give you a small word limit for your feeling, right? So therefore, there is an upper limit of 1200. You keep it as 1000. Yeah, you will get gaps. Yeah, that's a good score. That's a good score. Correct. Is all this clear so far? No, they are not permanent. Every year you will get a different topic, very unique topic every year. As of now, I'm not sure about the morning class. I have no idea when will you have essay in the morning. I don't have a clarity of that timetable. If I do get any updates, I'll let you know on the next class. That's so nice of you. Is it clear? Are all these things clear? We'll come back to that. Can we write paragraphs? Can we write subheadings? Can we underline how much to write and all of that? Yeah, I know. Essay is a long topic. It's a Pandora box. There are so many things we need to talk about. We will talk about. Don't worry. I'll come to all of that. All of that. How should I count words? I'll tell you all of that. Yes, you can do that. Okay. The comprehension class, fine. I'll talk to somebody in the break and I'll let you know. That also we'll talk about. So far, is everything clear? Oh, that's so sweet. My regards to your mom. Thank you. That's so nice of her. Yes, it's visible. Absolutely. Every question is visible to me. But is my question audible to you? So far, everything is clear or not? Any doubts so far? Don't worry about what we have not discussed. I will clarify every doubt before I go. Where can you get your answers checked? I shall update that to you shortly. Let me ask and let you know. No, this is not a qualifying paper, it's a compulsory paper. Your marks will be added for this. I'll talk about that also. How to improve writing, how to improve talking, how to improve vocabulary, where to practice from. Do I need to buy a book? All of that is coming up. But as of now, everything is clear. Are you clear about the structure of the paper? I'm sure no more confusions. Only one essay paper with two parts. Two essays need to be written, 3 hours for each. 125 marks for each. Is that correct? Correct? Sorted? Now shall we proceed? Yes, now we can proceed. Okay. If this is the structure of UPSC paper, now comes a bigger question. See, this is a brief structure I have made for you. Essay paper, two sections, section A, section B. Each section, 4 topics. Yes. Yes, definitely. GS paper 1 prelims marks will be added. Only CSAT is qualifying. I will. I will. Definitely, I'll do that. Don't worry. 125 marks for each essay. Word limit you already know. I would recommend you 900 to 1000, not more than that. Please. Five lectures we have. 3 hours time allocated in such a way that you have about 1.5 hour time for every lecture. Sorry, for each essay. Correct. So far it's done. Now let's proceed with a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is that so much we are talking for so long. UPSC wants you to write an essay, this, that. But what about the bigger question? What is essay? What do you mean by an essay writing? And how many essays do you need to write for UPSC? Now, let me also tell you something more interesting. I don't know whether you'll be happy to know or whether it will make you upset, but it's a reality. I told you that UPSC mains has so many papers, right? Paper A, paper B, and so on. One is the proper compulsory essay paper that we are studying for in this lecture. Apart from that, also you have to write 2 more essays here. One comes in compulsory language paper A, Indian language. One comes in compulsory English language paper, paper B. There also you have to write 1 essay each, but that's a very short essay. Very small essay. It's just for 100 marks. Word limit will be 600 words for each. That's very easy. But ultimately, UPSC will ask you to write so many essays. 2 in the essay main paper compulsory, and 1 and 1. 2 more in your compulsory, in your qualifying papers, which means total 4 essays will be evaluated in your UPSC exam. Look at the importance UPSC is giving to essay writing. So now let's clarify another doubt. What is an essay and why is an essay so important for the UPSC? Also, why after 2016 UPSC has changed the pattern and started giving you more philosophy based topics. So coming back to essay writing, technically talking, essay has been taken from a Latin word which means exagium. Now exagium word means when somebody expects you to say something about a topic, when somebody wants to know your opinion about a certain topic. For example, if I ask you, what do you feel what do you feel about women empowerment in rural India? If I ask you, what is your opinion on on women empowerment in rural India? If you have 150 students here, I'm sure everybody has a different opinion. Everybody will tell me something different. Everybody. Somebody will talk about problems, somebody will highlight achievements. Somebody could say, they could talk about the scheme, Drone Didi scheme. Women are ultimately, they're also now driving drones. They are becoming so self sufficient. Somebody else would probably talk about molestation and harassment. Somebody else might talk about joint family. Somebody else may talk about, yeah, the self income employment schemes like Manriga, participation of women, absolutely, self help groups, wonderful, all of that. So you see, yeah, Lakpati Didi scheme. So everybody has a very different ideology when it comes to various issues in life. Even something as simple as, what is a family? What do you think about love? Is there something called true love, unconditional love in this world, or is it all romanticized by Bollywood and Hollywood? Something like, what is your opinion about Instagram and Facebook? Do you think this is necessary, or do you think it's a waste in our civilization? It's a waste of human talent and creativity when they are always sitting on social media, right? So, what happens? No matter what the topic is, everybody in life has a different opinion about that. But have you ever noticed one thing? Have you ever noticed one thing? If I just ask you that, let's have a nice discussion over coffee, or let's have a nice discussion over tea on climate change. If you are 150 people here right now, and if I ask all of you, come guys, let's have a nice meeting, let's have a get together, let's have coffee, let's have tea. I want to know, what do you think about climate change? You know what? Everybody will tell me something. Nobody will be quiet. Everybody will participate, and they will participate very enthusiastically. Somebody may talk about summers. My God, it's crazy nowadays. Heat wave. Somebody else may talk about how they used to feel about summer vacations during school. And today, you see, you can't even go out of your house. It's that crazy. It is so scary. People are dying with heat waves. Somebody may just talk about forest fires that are happening in Uttarakhand right now. Somebody may talk about how the last glacier in Venezuela, I think that recently melted. Somebody may talk about that. Somebody may just talk about, yeah, lack of water. Now, cities like Shimla and Bengaluru have no water to drink now. There's no water at all. Somebody might talk about that. Somebody else may talk about how climate change is impacting women's life. Somebody else may talk about biodiversity, but nobody will be quiet. There are sometimes, I have had this experience in my lecture when I take offline lecture. If I'm asking students to discuss about monsoon, people become so creative. They become so, they get so emotional. They also talk about how, as children, thank you, how as children they used to make boats of paper and flow it on the running drains and puddles. Somebody would talk about having chai pakoras over a rainy season and all of that. Somebody talks about traffic problem or mushroom or whatever. People get very, very emotionally connected when you talk to them about different topics. You will agree, because everybody is sensible. Everybody has emotions. Nobody is a robot. Nobody is a robot. You agree? Nobody is a robot here. Everybody is a human, and we all have emotions. Okay, we will talk, we will discuss, and we will express ourselves when somebody talks to us. But, but, if I just change my attitude, and if I say, guys, I don't want to talk, I just will give you a sheet of paper. Everyone will have a sheet of paper and a pen. I want you to write about climate change. I want you to write about monsoon. And then you see how the dynamics change. All the 150 people who were eagerly participating and talking, they will just go blank. Blank. Hardly 50, 40 people will write, and other people will say it's a boring class, bye. Some other people will say, I can't write. Somebody will say, okay, I can write, but I don't know how to start. Somebody will say, oh my God, if I write, I don't know what will she think. My handwriting is not good. I make spelling mistakes. My vocabulary is not good enough. What should I write? Should I make a quotation? What sounds more reasonable? And then you will start becoming very, very robotic. You know how long it takes? You know how long it takes for a human being to become robot from human? You know how long it takes? A pen and a paper is all that it takes. If I talk to you about something, you will be very human and you'll be very emotional. I can see I'm talking to a human being, but if I ask you to write anything on paper, you will become like a robot. All this chai pakoda topic and all this boat topic and all the monsoon and rainbow will disappear. And what you will write? What is climate change? reversal of seasons, comma, heat wave, comma, as per the UN, as per the World Bank, as per Niti Aayog, as per Indian some ministry, or maybe as per some other data released by Oxfam, climate change will take the life of another 1.5 million people across the world. That's what happens. You, in a minute, will become a robot from a human. And then you will not talk to me about your feelings, emotions, experiences, and ideas. But then you will start talking to me about definitions, and you will become so controlled, as if I have asked you not to express yourself. You skill your expression and you become like a UPSC candidate, from a normal individual to just a candidate. And then only you will talk about books and what you have read in books. Definition of climate change, quotation on climate change, data on climate change, various reasons behind climate change, various consequences of climate change. Finished. Agreed or not agreed? How long does it take for a human to become a robot? Just a pen and a paper. You can talk. You can talk, but you can't write. Why? 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 My question is why? Is it because you are scared about vocabulary and sentence making? I don't think so, because you are writing optional and you are writing GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are doing reading comprehension in prelims. I think you all can read and write quite well. I'm reading your comments also. There's no one who's writing incorrect statements. There's nobody who's making any very scary or very big error or something. Yeah, tongue runs faster than hands, but more than that, heart beats faster than brain. Correct? It's human psychology. Correct. But what stops you is my question. Yes, now you answered my question. The fear is what stops you. It is not vocabulary, it is not sentence making, it is not poor command over language, it is just the fear. And where is this fear coming from? The fear is coming from the fear is coming from a kind of training that we have got, the wrong academic training that we have received, unfortunately, from somewhere. That essay means writing everything you know about a topic. Why the fear? Now let me tell you, why are you scared? I'll also tell you that. Okay, let me tell you, why are you scared? Listen carefully. The biggest reason why you are scared is because you think that essay means I need to write everything about the topic that I know. Many people will tell you, even if you Google, definitions will come like that. An essay means you should write everything about the topic that you know. Problem number two, the biggest myth: without a data, if there is no data, if there is no quote, essay becomes useless, marks will not come. Second biggest myth that is being circulated across various platforms, I don't know why, but it's very bad actually. It's something that should be, it should be prohibited. It's causing fear mongering among students. They can't write, and they write very well, but they don't write. They are not ready to write. Why? Data is, you should know data, you should know definition, you should write everything about the topic. And the worst thing that I have heard in my whole life, let me tell you that also, that essay should have both pros and cons. You might have heard this in childhood also. You have to write both for and against. You have to write both pro and con. Which human being in the world will have positive and negative feelings about the same topic? Is it possible as a human? Robot can have, humans can't have. If you tell me, how is this pen? Either I like it or I don't like it. I can't have mixed feeling for a pen. It's not my boyfriend. I can't have mixed feeling. If you ask me, you think women are empowered or you think women are not empowered? Obviously, I can't think both. If I'm saying I think both, I'm a fraud. Obviously, I'm a fraud. How can I be so manipulative that yes, they are and yes, they are not? No, it's not like that. Either they are empowered as per me, or they are already in the path of empowerment, or nothing is happening and they are not empowered. Or it might be that 80% I agree they are empowered, but 20% I think there is a problem. But I can't have a 50-50 approach. This Britannia 50-50 is a killer, I'm telling you. It's a very bad attitude. 50-50. So many people say that. In an essay, you have to write both. 5 pros, 5 cons. Are you a robot? Examiner wants to know what you think and you are fooling him. You are manipulating him. Why will he give you marks? Do you think he will give you marks? No. So please stop believing in this pro and con strategy. An essay cannot be 50-50. An essay always has to be based on your perspective. So an essay have to be, it has to be a perspective based write up. It cannot be a robotic write up where I think yes and I think no. Climate change is killing the civilization? Yes and no. Women are empowered? Yes and no. Joy is the simplest form of gratitude? Yes and no. What? What? What am I doing? So manipulative? No, that's not how you are supposed to be. The biggest quality in an essay has to be honesty of expression. You have to be honest. You have to be honest because no two people can think alike. No two people can think alike. It's not possible. It's not possible. Have you ever noticed after taking the same lecture from the same teacher? I have noticed. I have noticed. When I take social issues classes or sociology lectures, when I used to take, I remember it was in 2022 or something. So there we had discussed a topic on, I think it was urbanization. Yes, the problems of urbanization, and we had around say 25 students that day, and you know, it was just like we had finished the topic. We had some extra time, so I said, okay, I'll give you a question, and I would want you to say that is urbanization in India inclusive or is it still very very discriminatory? And everybody was trying to write an answer, and everybody had taken the same lecture and everybody's answer was so different. So two three people refused. They said we'll write it later, and I said okay, I'm not forcing you. But even if 20 people wrote, it's very interesting that same content, same PPT, same teacher, same class, but all 20 answers are different. All of them are different. So that's the beauty of expression. No two people can write the same and no two people can think alike. But when it comes to essay, everybody wants to be the same. Why? Because they are behaving in a robotic way. If they were normal, if they write what they feel, nobody would be the same. And that's the art of essay writing, because essay writing is not about right or wrong. Essay writing is not about pro and con. Essay writing is not about somebody else's data quotation or definition. Essay writing is about honesty of your feeling. Essay, I always tell my students, for GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4, CSAT, think from here. But for essay, I need you to think from here. There is a heart also. There is a heart also in the process of writing the exam. Please don't forget this. It is there, it is existing. We are living because of that. So, an essay has to be the feeling that you have about a topic in your heart. Okay? Topic can be anything, it can be as diverse in nature, as ranging from social issues to geographical issues or whatever, but you have to write what you feel about the topic very genuinely. You have to have honesty of expression and honesty of emotion. I'm not sure, but you may have heard that nowadays we are talking about something that is known as emotional intelligence. How many of you have heard this word? Emotional intelligence. Do you know there is something called emotional intelligence? It's also called emotive intelligence. Yes, you know about it. Wonderful. Yes, in ethics, you've heard about this. Yes. So, you know that. I'll tell you something. An essay is always given to test your emotional intelligence. It's not given to test your intelligence. Think about it. If they had to test your knowledge, they have GS paper 1 prelims, they have GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 mains, they have optional, and they have interview. Why will they keep essay in between? Why will they have a 250 marks essay paper? There are enough opportunities for them to judge your knowledge on polity, history, geography, current affairs, economics, and so on, even robotics and space and everything. They have all the options. They give you exhaustive optional papers. You are already studying so much, plus the interview later. Why? Do they need an essay from you? What are they trying to find from you? They are trying to tap your emotional intelligence quotient, because while all other topics test what you have studied, what you have read, only essay is the test of an individual's emotional intelligence quotient. This is the only place of UPSC which is testing your capacity to be honest and your capacity to be brave, the capacity to have a personality. A person without a personality is a robot, and a robot will never be creative. A robot can never be problem solving. A robot can only know about problems, but it is very difficult for a robot to find innovative solutions to problems, which is the need of the day. So therefore they need to know your emotional intelligence, and that's why they have given you the essay paper. Now do you understand why from 2016 onwards they have changed the pattern, and they have made all topics based on philosophy? You know why have they done this? They have done this because people were not cooperating with them. Candidates were not cooperating with UPSC. Before 2016, they used to give you issue based topics. For example, pollution, population problem, National Health Policy 2017, National Education Policy 2020. They may have given you a topic, say, for example, on the problems of climate adaptation. They may have given you a topic on workplace harassment on women. All of them used to be issue based before 2016. And what happened as a result? UPSC could not be successful in getting what they wanted. They wanted to check emotional intelligence, and people kept on fooling them by manipulating them. There was no difference in the GS paper answer and essay answer. Students used to behave the same. What they used to write in GS paper 3 climate change was the same thing they were writing in essay on climate change. When they used to write an answer on women problems in GS paper 1 mains, they used to write the same answer in essay also. UPSC lost its purpose. UPSC felt like they have been fooled, they have been duped. What benefit did they get by having extra marks 250 paper? Additional burden came on them. They had to check your essay, and they did not get to see anything because you manipulated with them. You behaved as if essay and GS is the same thing. You were behaving like a robot. Nobody was using heart, nobody was using emotional quotient. We were all learning and cramming and putting definitions and data, plus pros and cons, right and wrong, 50-50. The more you fool them, the more they will understand, right, that essay is becoming useless. 2015, 2016, there was a debate. The debate was in the UPSC panel itself that should we discontinue essay paper or should we continue the essay paper? Because the purpose is not getting solved at all. Should we stop it? And then a new approach came. And this approach was to change the issue based topics to philosophy based topics, because now they understood that if we give them all philosophy based topics, which are abstract in nature, how will they fool us? It's very easy to write like a robot on a topic that you know. You will know everything because you have studied for GS paper 1 to 4, but you will not know on philosophy. These are abstract. You can never be prepared for topics like joy, gratitude, minimalism, happiness, right? You will never be prepared for topics like kindness and love. You will never be prepared for topics like honesty and human values and morals. You will never be prepared for topics like brevity, courage, helping others, generosity. Nobody would prepare for them. So now comes the acid test, that how can you fool them? How will you fool them with philosophy? You can't. You have no choice now. When you write on philosophy topics, your feeling has to come out. Your emotional quotient will become open to them, and they will get successful in understanding the kind of person you are. Essay is a personality test. Essay is not a test of your knowledge, remember. Essay is a test of your personality. What is your perception of things in the world? Are you a problem oriented person or are you a solution oriented person? Do you have creativity? Are you creative? Can you think out of the box? Can you offer some solutions which nobody else can think of? Can you share some experience with the readers? Some experience of your childhood or adolescent or college? Do you want to change something in this world? Pattern of examination? Anything that you don't like about this world? Patriarchy or anything? Do you feel that value, ethics, and morality will play a role even in deciding the future of our society today? Or do you think all these things are becoming useless because today we are industrializing and we are becoming so artificial intelligence oriented? So these are the things that they are trying to look for. And therefore, in an essay, if you cannot write honestly with your heart, you will never get good marks. I have had students who were so well prepared for GS paper 1 to 4. They wrote an essay on climate change. They wrote an essay on, you know, primary health and education. Such bad marks they got. I'll tell you one more very interesting observation. You know what? You'll believe or not, but most of the students who get very good score in GS paper 1, 2, 3, they are the ones who always get very bad score in essay paper. It's a very strange coincidence, but there is a logic behind it, because they have studied a lot. They are very well prepared. They have a lot of knowledge. But then they are only showing that knowledge in the essay paper. What they are not understanding is essay paper is not to show knowledge. Essay paper is not to show big, big vocabulary words. You don't have to become Shashi Tharoor here. No, you don't need to do that. Essay is all about expressing what's there in your heart. Give them a chance to see your personality. If you do, they'll give you very good marks for the essay. They will never see your data. They will never see your quote. For that, there is GS paper. For that, there is interview later. They know you are well prepared. That's why you have come here. But unless you are honest with your emotion, unless you relate to the topic from here with your emotion and heart, you will not get good marks. And if you learn how to relate honestly, emotionally to the topic, you will get excellent marks in your essay. Therefore, essay means the art of expressing your emotions, your experiences, and your sentiments with and towards a given topic in a short space. That's what the essay is all about. You don't have to write everything. You can write whatever your perception of the topic is. You don't have to agree with everything. You can write what you genuinely feel like. If you think that we are not a progressive society, please write that you think it is not progressive. If you think that women are empowered, write this only when you genuinely feel it. Don't fool anybody. Don't be dishonest. This is not an essay, otherwise it becomes GS paper. Okay. If you remember data, write it. If you don't, forget about it. If you know quotation marks, write it. If you don't, nobody will cut your marks for not knowing that. Is that okay? Do you understand? Does that make you comfortable? You can just relax, loosen this tie around the neck, and sit comfortably. You can write. You can write. If you can read so well, you can write very well. We need to tackle this fear of writing. And the fear goes when you are convinced that essay is not about knowledge, not at all. It is about your feelings. And everybody has feelings. You may not have knowledge, but you will have feelings. Even a child has feelings, okay? And you are an adult, you can express. So, nothing to worry. Yes, essay topic can be anything under the sun. And you can also write anything under the sun. A lot of people, a lot of people do this. They buy essay books. This is the worst thing you can do to yourself. It's like killing your creativity with your own hands. Don't do that. Foster, encourage, nurture your creativity. Don't kill it, please. Don't read anybody else's essay. Why should you read that? That's their essay. Essay is yours. It's your personal domain. You know what? You know what? All stages in UPSC will ask you to follow rules. They will ask you to follow rules. You will feel like bonded, like you are in a bondage. Essay is the only place where you can have your wings and fly like a bird. Let the imagination fly. Let your mind take wings and write. You can write a story here. You can write an experience of your childhood here. You can write an experience of your daily life here. You can give suggestions. You can point out problems. You can talk about the philosophy of successful people, some great reformer. It could be Mahatma Gandhi, it could be Lord Buddha, anybody who impresses you. It could be your teacher, it could be your mother. You could write about a case study. You could write a poem. Do you know that? You can write a poem also if you want. A very well known UPSC, she was a topper of UPSC. What's her name? Just skipping the name. So she was from Srishti Deshmukh. Yes, in her essay, she had written the essay on child labor, and she had written her own poem. She had composed a poem on child labor, and she got brilliant marks in the essay paper. I'm not saying everybody should write a poem, but I'm just telling you how much variety is possible in essay. You can make a fake story. You can write a real life episode. You can quote from a newspaper. You can quote from a fairy tale. You can quote from Sanskrit or any other language, Urdu, Sanskrit, Greek, any language that you know, any beautiful words that you would want to put here, please do that. It's your domain. When you write a diary, you don't think, okay? Right? Yeah, okay. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, she was the one. Yes. Yes, she was the one. It will not be difficult anymore. I'm coming to that now. That's true. That's true. right? So therefore, let your imagination take wings and please fly. Fly. When you see the topic, just go in your dream world, become Alice in Wonderland. Right. Agreed? Do you now understand what is an essay? Is that clear? Is that clear? If I ask you that, what do you relate rainfall with? An essay. If you're writing an essay, you should think about summer holidays, rainy day, or what you used to eat, or puddles and boats and mushrooms everywhere and frogs and butterfly. But if it is a GS paper and I ask you rainfall, then you may have to think that the word monsoon has been taken from the Arabic word mossan. It means reversal of seasonal winds. In India, there is something called ICTZ. My geography is not good though. So winds blow from this pressure to this pressure, and that's why it comes. There are two types of southwest and northeast, and blah blah blah. That's a GS answer. Good job. But that is not essay. Essay is this: what you feel. Okay. Okay. If this much is clear, a big task is done. If this much is clear, we have achieved a lot. At least we know what is an essay now. Okay, we know we don't have to get scared or we don't have to worry about it. You can write anything. Anything that is not offensive to government, that is not offensive to individual, that is not offensive to any office under the Indian government, that is not pinpointing to any well-known individual who is a media person or people who know about him, any political party. Unless you are blaming such people, unless you are criticizing them, apart from that, you are free to write anything. Respect your constitution, your government, your national flag, and all of that. That's it. Apart from that, there is no rule here. You can write anything. You want to criticize your family or your friend or your teacher in respectful words, you can do that also. There's no problem. There is no rule here. Unless it is becoming abrasive, harsh, abusive. That's not nice. But within the limits of decency, enjoy. Right. No, you don't need an evidence. You don't need an evidence. Evidence is needed only in GS paper, because there, if you write something, you should prove it. For example, if I want to say that 57% Indian women today are having anemia, they don't have enough iron in their blood, they are malnourished. I have to say, how can I claim this? Because National Family Health Survey round 5 has said that. I have a data, I can prove my point. But if I say that today also Indian women are bonded and they are under the bondage of many evil customs and traditions, which, although people feel do not matter, but they matter a lot. Whether it be about what to wear, what to eat, when to marry, whom to marry. There are many aspects of a woman's life that are still controlled by family. Society is conservative. Now, I don't need any proof to point to prove my point, because I may have seen this in my family. I could have seen this in my neighborhood. I don't have to justify my feelings. Feelings don't need justification, only facts do. An essay can have facts, but essay has to majorly have feelings. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. People say that you get extra marks for data and quotation. Give them my email ID, I will talk to them. You will never get extra marks for a data or the quotation. You can write a data or a quotation. Yes, indeed, it will help you in justifying something if you are making a very big point. So I will also teach you where to write the data. Yes, yes, absolutely. Go ahead. Go ahead. Only English? Strike off. Where did I write strike off previously? I don't remember that. If you can point out, then I'll clarify it to you. Where is it? I don't remember when I said that. So now that we all know what is an essay writing, absolutely. Brilliant. Absolutely. Very well said. Question paper, slide, fourth point. Acha, this one. Yes, yes, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. These are the rules of essay writing. Give me one more minute. Okay, so now you know essay. Whenever you are talking about essay, and one more thing, for those who know Hindi, I'll also tell you one interesting thing. For those who are familiar with Hindi, they would know that in Hindi, essay is known as Nibandh. And what does it mean? Nirbandh. What is bandh? Bandhan, boundations, limits. Nir means without. So in Hindi, essay translates into nirbandhan or bandhan mukt, which means free of any foundations, free of any limitations. Fly high in the sky and let your imagination go wild. That's essay. So essay is how will I define an essay? Essay is an individual, personal, emotional, sentimental perspective that a person has towards a particular topic, which means for one topic 1 million people can have different perception. That's an essay. Correct. Now, are there certain rules that we should follow? Yeah, some small rules are there. Let me come to them. The first rule is that if you are an English medium student like you are, then obviously you have to write in English, okay? Don't get confused. Don't start writing in Hindi. You can quote in Hindi. You can quote in Urdu, Sanskrit, any language, but you have to write the essay paper in the same language in which you have written everything else, GS paper and optional. Maintain that. Second thing, if without informing, without taking permission, without no reason, people start writing in a different medium, then the paper will not be evaluated. Naturally, it's common sense. Another thing is, there is a word limit that is specified here. Every essay has to be within 1200 words. So please try not to cross this. Yeah, I know. That's why we are doing an English medium batch here. So please make sure you write in English. There's no confusion here. Okay. Yeah, you can write. Quotations or small paragraphs can be written just as a quote in any other language, but technically it should be in English only. Okay. Now, upper limit is 1200 words. Please try not to exceed this. If it's 1250, 1270, no problem, but try not to exceed. No, 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 no. Only two essays you have to write. You will get 8 options. Only two you will write, one from each segment. That you can do. Okay. Last but not the least, if in your answer booklet, if in your answer sheet, in between you are leaving a page blank, for example, you write one slide, one side, other side, and suddenly without a reason you have by mistake done it, or deliberately you have done for some reason, you left one side empty or vacant, what should you do? Please, with a single pencil or a paper, just strike it off or write PTO. Please turn over. Because in the end, if there is space remaining, not a problem. But randomly in between, please don't leave spaces. That's also there for GS paper and optional. When you are writing your answer, it's common sense only, but some people may make this mistake. So, just as a rule, UPSC says that if while writing the answers on the answer sheet, if you by mistake or deliberately skip a page in between any side, just strike it off so that it looks like it is there is no reason for it, it doesn't confuse the examiner. That's all it is, nothing else. Now, if all this is sorted, we can proceed with the final part. There is one more thing. I told you you have to write two essays here, one from each segment, 125 mark each, about 900 to 1000 word each. Normally what people believe that there are certain rules of conduct that you have to maintain while writing an essay. The first thing is that you can criticize, but make sure the language that you use is absolutely formal. Formal means it should be very decent. Kindly do not use any kind of abusive, any kind of hate speech oriented writing. Don't do that. Even if you are very angry with somebody, it could be government, it could be some other country. Maybe, for example, we are writing about international relations, something based on IR, and we know we don't like the policy and principle of China. Some people may not like the stance of Russia against Ukraine. Some people may feel that Israel is valid, and some people might feel Israel is very, very invalid in doing whatever it's doing. You may have your opinion, which is fine, but then you cannot pinpoint a country or an organization and create a hate speech or abusive language against that. That's not allowed. Don't do that, please. Second thing, you can discuss government policy. For example, if you choose to talk about any government policy, maybe you are writing on women empowerment and you decided in 3 4 lines to discuss about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Andolan. You may decide to write about this Sukanya Samriddhi scheme or any other scheme, Janani Suraksha scheme, whatever. Now, you may want to talk about it, please talk about it, no problem. Swachhata Abhiyan, you may want to talk about. But then, if you think it is not very successful, don't be abusive again. Don't be critical too much because it's your government, you need to respect, okay? So, therefore, don't over criticize and don't directly start criticizing that the government is a failure. China is horrible. Don't do that, please. Don't do direct blame game. You can mention that When the scheme was launched, it was a very ambitious scheme, but when it comes to target achievement, it seems that there are many loopholes that are still there, and not every city or not every, say for example, town has been benefited by Swachh Bharat 2.0. Or you may say that a lot of families, specifically rural India, is hardly aware about schemes such as Beti Badhao or, you know, this Mahila Samman Sunidhi or whatever. You can say that publicity is poor, implementation is not up to the mark. That's okay, but then you can't say government has done nothing. You can't say China should be abandoned. That's not right. So avoid over criticizing. That you can do. You can definitely favor a particular kind of. For example, you might say that the foreign policy of quad countries is way better because at least they are trying to bring some stability in the Indo-Pacific region. You may say that the stance taken by countries like North Korea, or for that matter even Iran, or maybe for that matter China, this is not really in the interest of most of the nations which are existing in the Indo-Pacific and South China Sea, because it creates a lot of instability. It could further create more conflicts. That you can write. But then you can't say that China is a terror mongering country or Pakistan has always done something against India. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Yes, yes, that you can say. Yeah, beti bachao, beti padhao, whatever. That's beautifully put. Agreed. Tomorrow, no, tomorrow there is no essay class. The next essay class is on Monday. Tomorrow morning, I have my last CSAT English class. I think for those who are there, you will have your last CSAT English batch tomorrow, English class tomorrow morning. Essay we don't have tomorrow. It's not a weekend batch. We'll have it on Monday. Yes, you can write Hindi, Sanskrit, any code, Persian, Arabic, anything. No, not at all. A good handwriting, it's not an Apsara pencil advertisement. 10 marks extra for good handwriting, Apsara pencil. That's not going to happen here. If you, all you need to know is write so that the person who's reading can read. It should be legible. It should be something that you can read and understand. If you're writing an ECG report, or if you are writing Taiwanese or Japanese instead of English, that's a problem. If he can't read, how will he give you marks? But it should be legible to read. You don't have to decorate it. It's not important. Yes, Telugu, Tamil, any language you can quote. Okay. So I don't know the batch number. I'll ask and let you know. I know some batch, new batch. I don't know the batch number. I'll let you know. Okay. So don't directly blame anybody. That's also important. Now, last but not the least, there is pen in the exam final pen. I'll let you know about sociology. Right now, I don't have a clarity about the timetable. Okay. Now, the next rule that we follow, now, this is an important rule. Yes, you can. Another important rule is that please make sure that you always end your essay. You end your essay on a positive note. This is very important. This is very important. You must end your essay optimistically, not pessimistically. Why? Because people who conclude on an optimistic note, or those people who conclude on a problem solving note, they always end up giving a better impression. I am from Uttarakhand. Absolutely, you can ask. Not a problem. Not a problem. If I was from China, why would I criticize China? Okay. So conclude your essay either on a problem solving, solution oriented note, or you should end it on a very positive note, optimistic note. That's very important. Is that correct? Yeah. I will talk about, yes, I will show you examples. I will show you the pattern also. Okay, where am I taking the lecture from? No, I'm in Bangalore right now. So I belong to my state, that's North India, but I am in Bangalore right now. Definitely, you can do that. Yes, it's allowed. Okay, that's a very personal take. Whichever pen makes you write better, do that. I am that way very old school. So when I write any exam, I still use my Reynolds pen. I know you will laugh at me because it's parents' generation pen, but it doesn't spill it just stays at one place, so whether it's my Aadhaar or whatever, I always use that ball pen which doesn't spill. I am very nervous and paranoid about gel pens because gel pens scare me. What I feel, if examiner is having tea or coffee, and what if he drops it on my roll number? So I'm stupid, I know, but I have still those fears in me that if I'm writing something, if I use a gel pen, tomorrow if something happens, something falls on it, I'm going to lose everything. So I always stick to my ball pen. Even if earthquake comes, my paper should not get spoiled. So I prefer ball pen. I don't take a risk with gel pen, never. Yeah, exactly. Correct. Okay. Right. There's no rule. Black or blue, anything is fine. All right. So now, if the rules of essay writing are very, very simple, you know that it has to be in a specific structure. We will talk about the structure. An essay will always follow IBC structure, where I stands for introduction, B stands for body, and C stands for conclusion. Any essay that you write, it could be formal, informal. It could be narrative. Narrative essay means a story. Okay. An essay that is, say, to expository, an essay where you are trying to expose somebody, a scam, government, international organization, even that one. Even if it is informative, when you are trying to inform your readers about something, any essay on the planet, it will always take the same form: intro, body, conclusion, and it will follow the same rules. Not criticizing anybody, no abusive language, no pinpointing a political leader or a political party or the government of any country specifically, no blame gaming here. Another thing is ending on a positive note. Conclusion will be always optimistic. And last but not the least, an essay should be concluded on a positive note. A positive note means either you give a solution to a problem that you're talking about, or you tell something that's feel good. You might have heard about that Bollywood story of happy ending. It should be like the ending is happy. The ending is happy. It leaves the viewer on a very positive note. It's all psychology at the end of the day, right? Whether it's watching a movie or whether it's reading a story, they all play on your psychology. So psychologically, when you end something on a positive or an optimistic note, it gives an impression of you being a problem solving person, a solution oriented personality, not a problem oriented personality. Yeah, that is also a very interesting point, but we will also solve that problem when people do a lot of cutting in the essay. They are cutting in between, rewriting, and that gives a very filthy impression because even you will not be satisfied with your work. But that will not happen in your case. Why? Because an essay cannot be and should not be committed without a rough work. For an essay writing, rough work is mandatory, whether it's this paper or whether it's paper A and B, a long or a short essay. An essay has to fall upon good amount of rough work. If you ask me, essay is 80% rough work, 20% finalization. Everything that you will write will be done in rough work itself. You can't start writing and then think. You have to think and then write. Correct? So that should not happen. Now, when I say Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Sanskrit, Persian words, I'm not saying essay has to be bilingual or trilingual. That's not my intention. What I'm trying to say is that, for example, you're writing an essay and you want to write a quote, Satyamev Jayate. Correct? You have to write Satyamev Jayate. Now, this is purely taken from Sanskrit, but you can write it. It's a small quote, right? So a quote can be taken in any language. Of course, you will explain it in English. Of course, you can explain it in English then. So many people could write a small Buddha, a small Buddhist shlok, for example, a small quotation, and then you explain it in your own words. That's all right. That's not a problem. You can't, essay has to be in English. One, two, one line quotes taken from a foreign language and then translated are absolutely good to go. Anything. Rough work is your personal space. You can use a sketch pen also. Nobody will stop you from doing that. At the end of the answer booklet, you always have a rough work space. They will give you 5 to 6 pages for rough work. You have to utilize that. And after utilizing, just leave it there. They know it's rough work. They will not comment on that. They will not trouble you for that. No, no, no. You are not writing few lines in a foreign language. Not few lines. A quotation. A quotation is not few lines. A quotation is hardly one line or one and a half line. How long will your quotation be? It cannot be like 2 paras. That you can't do because it's an English medium paper. You can use one or two, 3 words or one small line as a quote from another language and then translate it into your language. You're getting the point. Just as a quote. So you were explaining na, in your own language a phrase, and then you were explaining in your own language. You're doing that, isn't it? When you write that Satyamev Jayate, won't you explain later that truth always triumphs? You will do that, right? So he will come to know. In fact, he'll be happy to know that he's learning something from your essay. Absolutely. That's permitted. It's allowed. You can write anybody's quotation. Rough work is provided because you can't write an essay without rough work. If you try, you will not be successful. If you want, you can try. Just for fun, try it someday. It will not work out. I will always prefer ball pen. Definitely. You can do that. Okay, we can talk about a good quality pen also later. Okay. Break. Break. I thought you were happy, you were enjoying, and then suddenly break, break, break. You broke my heart by asking for a break. Okay, we'll take a break. 10 more minutes and we'll take a break. Correct? We'll take a break. We'll take a break at 6:40. Just give me 10 more minutes. Okay. Yeah. Now, having said that, so far, what have we done? We have spoken about what is essay. I'm sure you are convinced about the freedom that you get, and I'm sure you know now it's your own personal expression. You have to use this less, use this more. It's a heart enterprise, not a brain enterprise only. Don't show off your knowledge. For showing off your knowledge, you have GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not a space to show off your knowledge. It is a space to express your sentiments. You can show off your sentiments, that's not a problem. Last but not the least, these are certain rules that you should follow, and ultimately, essay will follow the IBC structure. Now, if this is correct, let me quickly proceed by telling you now, more technically, that an essay will always be of two types in UPSC exam. One will belong to the issue based type, and the other belongs to philosophy category. Correct? The issue based category are essays that are generally taken from all those topics that are mentioned in your GS paper 1 and 2 and 3 main exam. For example, in issue based essay, they can give you any issue that is based on current affairs. Typically, they take up those issues which have been in the news in the last 1 year. For example, today, nowadays, a very popular topic has become artificial intelligence, the use of artificial intelligence in medical science, education, and in across various social media platforms. Is it helpful? And does it have some challenges? Similarly, they can give you anything. The most common ones are climate change. Many topics can be based on forest fires or, marine pollution, melting of glacier ice. They could talk about landslides. They could talk about water scarcity, and they could talk about the deteriorating air quality, rising cancers because of climate change, rising zoonotic diseases. Nowadays, this is a very common and popular topic, zoonotic disease which spreads between human and animals alike. For example, COVID pandemic, bird flu, swine flu, Marburg virus, what was that? Tomato flu, correct? All these kind of infections. Why they are increasing? Due to climate change, obviously. Problems with biodiversity, problems of agriculture, correct? H5N1, all of those. Correct. All of those. Why? Because it is becoming a big challenge to deal with so many issues related to climate change. Climate change is a broad topic in that they can ask anything. Similarly, women empowerment again is a very common episode under issue based topic. They could ask you about success of government education schemes. They could ask you about how has the recent initiative by the government of promoting free medical insurance. Recently, the government said that Anganwadi and ASHA workers will be covered under Ayush scheme, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. How will this help us in enabling a more equitable society? Does it mean social justice to these women? What are the problems of women in Indian joint family structure? Why? The biggest and the most common topic. Why in India is female labor force participation rate so low? Why is it lower than the Asian and global average? Why women are not working in India? Why most of them are not working? And if they are working, why most of them work in the GIG platform or informal sector? They could also ask you the problems of women working specifically in GIG sector, agriculture, labor, or other informal work such as maids or vendors or factory working women and all of that. True? Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Otherwise, they could also ask you the problems of school and higher technical education among women. Recently, the government has introduced a scheme called Swati Platform, Swati Portal. What is Swati Portal? Swati Portal is there to encourage schemes like Kiran schemes. All these schemes are meant to promote women's participation in the technology sector, entrepreneurship, STEM education, science, technology, engineering, maths. Women are very low in this sector. How to promote them? All these schemes are coming up. Correct? Any such question based on women. Crimes against women. Data by National Crime Records Bureau. The rising cases of acid attacks, molestation, rapes, abductions, rape in marriage. A problem that has not really been solved or taken care of yet. The hidden problem of dowry. Why is it continuing so much? Okay, all these. So issue based topic can ask you anything that's relevant from current affairs. Sometimes they could also go to sports and ask you about women participation of sports, or they could ask you about Paralympics. How has Paralympic sports and the excellent performance of our differently able sportsmen changed our vision towards disability? They could ask you on reservation policy. With every passing day, the limit of reservation is increasing and increasing. You know that most of the states have crossed 50%. This should remind you of Indra Sahni verdict, the Mandal case controversy, 1992, right? So we are talking about that. Is reservation a good situation? Recently, last year, Uttarakhand government has another, once more, they are talking about giving 33% women horizontally in Uttarakhand. Plus, we are talking about, what is that, which amendment bill is that, 128th or what, which is talking about women reservation in Lok Sabha and state legislatures. Is that a good move to support Indian women? Yeah, 106th Amendment Act. And what bill? 120th 128th bill or something it was supposed to be, right? So all these things. Similarly, they could ask you about youth. Very good. Youth suicide, suicide among women. All these are valid topics under issue based topic. Yeah, that is the, yeah, Amendment Act. Correct. But what was the bill? Was it 128th bill or something? Just check and let me know. The quota case, young children, IIT, NEET exams, and the rising rate of suicide and stress among Indian youth. Globalization, its impact on our culture. All these are popular current affairs based topic. India's leading economic rise. India's relations with superpowers such as China, US, South China Sea politics. What does it mean for world peace? All of that. Paper leak episode, correct. Right. So all this comes your issue based topic. So these are more easy to handle because anyway, you are studying about current affairs every day and you know so much data about that. So these essays will be much easier for you to attempt in a way. Why? Because you have some familiarity over these topics. Now, this is one type. But there is a problem here. Generally, you will notice that in issue based topic, you can write the body successfully. Body making is not a problem. The body or the middle part is very comfortable. You can write about so many things, why are youth committing suicide, why are they stressed out, how can we help them, and so on. But in issue based topic, it is very difficult to start and it is very difficult to end. Introduction is a problem. How to write a good introduction and how to end, that's a problem in issue based topic. Now the second part is philosophy topic. Here opposite happens. In a philosophy based topic, it is very easy to introduce and to end. It becomes very difficult to write the body. Most people are scared because of body only. That if I have to write 1000 words, yes, you can definitely write your opinion. There's nothing wrong in that. Yeah, you can make notes of current affairs, but for issue based topic, you can borrow ideas from GS paper 1 to 3. It's just the same, it's nothing different. Anyway, you shall prepare for that. So that can be taken here. Okay. Okay, I've taken down your name. Just during the break time, I'll go and contact my technical team person and I'll discuss about it. Okay, I'll do that. Now, for example, if there is 1000 word essay I'm writing, obviously I need to distribute this in such a way that at least There have to be 500 words in my body, not in my body, essay's body. Okay, if 500 words are there in the body of the essay, which also means that at least I will write 250 to 200 words in my intro, which means approx around 200 to 150 words I will write in my conclusion. That's how I will distribute. Obviously, body is the most bulky segment. It's the longest segment of the essay naturally. The smallest should be conclusion, middle should be intro, and longest should be the body. Now, what happens in a philosophy based topic? I don't know what to write in my body. Joy is the simplest form of gratitude. Now, what? What to write in this? What should I think of? Okay, I have introduced. Okay, I concluded. It's a very good thing to be happy, stay happy. What about the body? It always happens. So for philosophy topics, you can do one thing. Either you take inputs from your GS paper 4, because GS paper 4 will have topics like ethics, morals, values, conduct, and stuff like that. That will give you certain inputs. But most of the inputs will not come from here. Then where will they come from? Hold on. I'll come back to that. But what topics come in philosophy? Well, anything that has to do with your emotional intelligence and your feeling will come here. For example, they can give you topics on simplicity. They can give you topics on the value of honesty and hard work. They can definitely create a topic upon gratitude. Another rising topic nowadays is minimalism. How to be a minimalistic person and avoid wastage and be happy. They can talk about unconditional happiness or sacrifice. Is sacrifice important to maintain healthy relationships? They can talk about, as I said, joy. They can talk about respect. Any such human emotion can be covered under philosophy based topic, and therefore it is very abstract, but it is much more easy to write. Now, I think you won't believe me right now. Why will you believe me? Everything needs to be proven. I will prove it to you, then you will believe me. Philosophy is much more easy to write, and after these lectures, you will prefer philosophy. You can definitely write about that. Definitely. No, it's not like that. You can write anything. Don't bother about impression. If you are not disrespecting any institution and you are writing your genuine sentiment, it's valid. It's absolutely valid. It's absolutely valid. Yes, yes. In essay, you can write in my perspective. It is your perspective at the end of the day. You have to write your perspective. So before I take the break, now I'm taking the break now because I think the patience of my students are also breaking. I better take a break. So now before I take a break, there is one small thing I want to say before you go for the break. I always take long breaks, and that you can't deny. Don't be biased. You have to give me credit for that. I never take less than 20 minutes break. So you have to cooperate with me because I'm cooperating. I'm being a cooperative person. So just stay back for a second and listen to me carefully before you go. If you go, I will not repeat, okay? Anybody who goes, I will not repeat. Listen to me carefully. Um, I told you that the reason for this lecture is not just to teach you essay, but to make your life easy. I can't just give you gyan, say big things, and say tata bye bye. That's not my intention. My intention is that when you write the essay, you don't have to use your mind too much. I want to give you ready made food to eat. This is my plan. Look here and then go. But if you go before that, no, once a student also becomes less, I'm not repeating. Already two people left. See, they just went away. Issue based philosophy. This is my plan. Now you will not have to think anything. I'm giving you ready made template. You know that every essay on the planet, IBC format has to be followed. Similar is for philosophy, IBC. But there is a fixed pattern. You have to just learn this pattern and in the exam fill it up. You will get excellent marks. Otherwise, where will I run away? I'm on YouTube also. You can catch me anytime. I can't disappear also, right? So it's a paka promise. Now listen to me. What is the plan? What is the pattern? In the issue-based topic, if you are writing on issue-based, introduction has a fixed pattern. HDDT. In philosophy, also intro has fixed pattern. HDDT. Body is different for both. In issue based, you can use either of these two approaches, CC or HESP. In No, no, I'm on Baiju's channel only YouTube. I'm recording those sometimes newspapers, sometimes that. What I'm trying to say, I can't disappear. I can't run away. If I lie, I will be caught. So I won't lie. Philosophy body is slightly different. Here the pattern changes. It becomes DD, T1, T2, CE, conclusion. In the case of issue based, sorry, WA. In the case of philosophy, WAPC. So this is my fixed standard. Yeah, I told you it will look like a formula. It's very nice. Why? What's the benefit? If you know this pattern and then you write any essay in the planet, even if Chinese president comes and gives you a topic, even if Putin comes and gives you a topic, you will not get confused. Why? Because you just have to fill up this format. Everything is ready made for you. Fill this up, essay will be ready in 2 minutes. No hard, no stress, no confusion. Correct? But what is this? What are the full forms of these? How to fill this up? Why are they different from? Then also you can fill it up, even if it's Modi ji. Or whether it's issue based or philosophy, why is it different? I will come back to that. For that, let's take a break. Go enjoy, live your life, but come back on time. I'll try to end the lecture also early. I'll teach only as much as I have decided for today. 7, yeah, you can take the break till 7:05 also, not a problem. Yeah. Just remember this method. After that, essay will not be a problem for you anymore. Okay? I'll see you after the break. Do anything you want to do in the break, but don't sleep. And if you sleep, use an alarm and sleep. Otherwise, you'll get up at 9 p.m. Then I'll be gone. See you. Welcome back on the other side of the break. Apologies for the 1 minute, 2 minutes delay actually. And hope you had a good long break. Hope you're fresh and geared up for the further discussion. So, right before taking the break, we were talking about this format, this scheme, the schema of writing the essay. And I told you that since we are dealing with just two types, one is issue based and the other philosophy. So, both of them will go like this, okay? So, the purpose behind giving you this scheme is not to control, not to stop or curtail your freedom or creativity. It's not like that. This is just the format. The content can be absolutely created by you. The content has to be yours. It can be very creative, very personal, very experiential. But this is just the order in which you will fill up things. This will save you time and energy every time you have to start with a new topic. Okay. So, this is the format, but one by one, we will understand how the format works. As you can see on the screen, whether it's an issue based topic or a philosophy topic, introduction is same in both the cases. You know that essay will have three parts and I, a B, a C. Is my voice echoing? Is that a problem with everyone? Could you refresh your link once? It could be technical glitch from your side. Okay. No, as far as Tamil is concerned, see, any Indian language, any language on the planet, anything can be used for a quotation only. You can't write in it. It has to be English. One or two words, a small quote in that language, in any language, is acceptable provided you explain it in English. What does it mean? Okay. All right. Having said that, you know that in philosophy and issue based, introduction is just the same. An introduction is always the first part of the essay. Your essay will start with an introduction. For example, when you meet a new person, when you meet somebody for the first time, or when the government introduces a new scheme. It all begins with introducing. Even in the parliament, when a new bill, when a new motion is created, it has to go through certain stages, right? First reading, second reading, third reading. The first step is always introduction because we know about something, that we have a certain perception of something. Maybe I have a perception of myself, you have a perception of yourself, but not everybody knows me, not everybody knows you. Okay. So, when we meet somebody who does not know us, we obviously begin by introducing. Obviously, it starts with formalities like name, origin. Sometimes people ask you your religious affiliation. Even then, they would want to know about your caste affiliation. It's very common. They would want to know about what job do you do, what languages do you know. That's how people come to know each other. Even when you introduce a new public policy, for example, if the government wants to talk about any new scheme, maybe the government will explain, at least they will release a media, a press release will be there to tell people about what's the intention, what's the budget allocation. Why? Because for anything that's unknown, you have to have some familiarity. So, introduction in an essay is always the first part, be it any kind of essay, be it for any purpose. Introduction means here you are doing two, three things. One, you are telling the examiner or the reader what do you understand by the topic. Did you understand the topic? If you have chosen the topic, there has to be some reason behind that. So, here you will explain the topic, but in your own words. Remember, the more original an essay, the better an essay becomes. Okay. But in the GS paper, you can write definitions. For example, if you want to define climate change, you can take up a good definition from UN, or you can take up a good definition from any other agency. That's okay. But here, if you want to define climate change, please make sure it's your own definition, because essay is direct speech. It's your thinking, not anybody else's thinking going on. So, in the intro, we will introduce the topic. What do I understand by the topic? That's what you have to write. Second thing, a lot of people just write the definition and they go away. They run away. Now, why do they run away? They run away because they feel that now that introduction has been written, I have given the definition, my job is over, my task is finished. But then your task is not finished yet. It cannot finish because there are multiple more things expected from you when you are actually writing the introduction. Of course, it begins by defining the topic, but there's one more thing included here. The second thing is you also have to tell in a very brief manner that what are you going to talk about in the later part of the essay, right? You know there's a window, and why do you use that? You use it just to peep outside. It opens up a vista for you, it opens up a new thing for you. Similarly, the introduction of the essay will open up a window to what's going to come in the remaining part of the essay here. So intro will always have these components. One, of course, is definition. The other is you're going to tell your reader that what are we expecting from the essay now? What is the ideology behind my essay? What am I trying to talk about? What will the reader expect from you? All that you have to show the reader in the intro itself. This is the beauty of HDDT. Now let's understand what does it stand for. H stands for hook. It is same in both the cases, hook. D stands for definition. Definition. Next D stands for data. Data. The last T stands for thread. Thread. What do these words mean? Let's quickly understand that, okay? Because intro is the first and the foremost and the most important part of the essay. So I'm talking about it. HOOK, hook. What is a hook? Have you ever heard words like a hook or a bait or a trap? In Hindi, it's called jal, pash, all of that. When you are trying to catch a fish or when you are trying to hook something, even in clothing, when you're using a clothing, you will have a hook. You will hook something, right? So a hook is like a trap. Yeah? It is used to trap something. If you just catch something, it gets hooked into it. So basically, hook is like an attention trap. In an essay, you have to begin your essay by creating a hook. Hook is the first step of introduction. Today, we are just talking about intro. Intro also has these four steps. It starts with a hook. A hook is, yes, absolutely. Like you say, first impression is the last impression. Correct. So a hook will do one thing for you. A hook will attach the attention of the reader, because everybody is all the time they are into different dimensions. We think so much. So when we read something interesting, we get hooked. Even a movie, if it's very interesting, we get hooked immediately. Otherwise, we lose interest. It's boring. Let's not watch it. So you have to trap the attention of your reader right at the beginning. It means a lot. It gives you good marks. How do you create a hook? Hook can be created by creating a plot of emotions. Either you have to create fear in the mind of the reader, or you have to create happiness or humor, or you have to create a tragic situation. You have to make the person very sentimental, emotional, and sad, or you have to give them a surprise, a shock. Anything which involves extreme emotion becomes a hook. So, how do you make a hook? In both the cases, talking about issue based essay, a hook can be created through 3 4 manners. One way of creating a hook is by telling an incident that is either true or false. It is up to you. It's no rule. You can make a fake incident. You can tell a true incident. Let me tell you quickly with the help of an example. First, let's finish. Another way you can create a hook is by creating a short poem, a couplet kind of. Or you can do it by giving any quotation that is very moving, that is very emotional, that's very touching, that's very shocking. Or you can give news, anything that you read in the newspaper, or it can be an experience of your own life, or an experience of somebody that you have seen very closely, or it can be a fake incident also that you have created. Correct. Now, how do we create that? A quick example, and then you tell me it was good or not, you liked it or not. Let's assume I am a student and you are the UPSC examiner, right? And let's assume that I have chosen a topic which says impact of climate change on poor communities or on marginalized communities. It's a very popular topic. Now let me write an essay. Let me start a hook. You tell me whether you are happy or you don't like it. I'm writing my essay. I'm writing introduction. Let me make a hook by creating a fake incident, because I want to trap your attention right now. So either if something has happened with me, I will talk about it. If something has happened in the news, I will talk about it. I want to make a fake incident, Chalo. Let's assume. I will say in the beginning, in just 5 6 lines, that Raja was sleeping peacefully in his hut. After months of struggle, today he was happy and he had a good meal with his family, his wife, his daughter, and in their small, humble settlement. He slept peacefully like never before. Why? Because now, after 10 years of day in and day night labor and hard work on his land, on his farmland, he was finally able to collect enough money to get his only daughter married. least could he have imagined that this is a sleep which has no end. He will sleep forever. Because morning, or rather, you can say this will be a sleep which will turn out to be the worst nightmare of his life. Morning, his eyes woke up and he saw that entire house is literally floating. He saw scenes of horror around him. He couldn't find any of his family members. They were all lost. All his belongings were floating in the water. He himself was neck deep into it. He ran, and he saw many more people running as fast as they could to escape. He saw people, noises, sirens, rescue teams. He did not know what happened in a short span of time. And this happened during the Sikkim flash floods that took place right in 2023, where millions of families have lost their lives like that. Raja is not the only one. There are so many more people like him. This is an everyday story in hilly areas of India where cloud bursting or landslides or sudden, you know, ripple floods or sudden flash floods have devastated the life and livelihoods of many other such innocent people like Raja. If this is not the horror of climate change, then what else could it be? So, this could be a very good story. This could just be a good hook because once the examiner read, he's going to get attached to it. He wants to know what happened now. Now let's see what the writer is writing. Or if I cannot think of an incident, I may write an experience, something very simple and very easygoing. For example, I can also write, today my eyes welled up with tears. Coming back from office, it was so difficult to see two children, toddlers, 2.5 year old, barely clothed, no footwear on their feet, semi nude, just sleeping on the road. And here was I, peeping at them, looking at them helplessly from my AC cab, complaining about the AC being insufficient to beat the acute heat that has gripped North India right now. You can take example of any town or city, say for example Delhi right now. And I know, and yeah, and when I saw these children sleeping so carelessly, sleeping just so comfortably on a piece of land that is actually like a boiling furnace, without complaining, without saying anything, because they know that their complaints will never be heeded to, because the poor parents are laborers and they cannot offer any piece of comfort apart from maybe a piece of sheet with which they can fan themselves. Drenched in sweat and mud, these children are really living a childhood which no child deserves. Is it true that a poor always has to pay way more price for climate change as compared to people who have resources? Is it about climate change, or is it about the divide which it has created among the have and the have nots? You can do it like that. That is also wonderful. It could be an experience. It could be another experience. If you could talk about your childhood days, that's also fine. That today, now that you are in college or something, you see children living a robotic life. They cannot even step out of their apartments and houses because the government has issued a warning recently that there is an alert that the heat wave is really it's claiming lives. The temperatures are soaring to unexpected degrees, and these kids, what childhood do they have? Sitting in their apartments, sitting in their homes, not coming out. And here we were as children playing carelessly in the shades of trees, running around barefoot, spending time with friends, plucking mangoes from the trees. If that was the carefree spirit of childhood, then will this generation or the upcoming ones ever experience a carefree childhood during times where a, a shift in the season could mean absolute foundation, where you have to think twice even before stepping out? So it's like people are caging themselves. And what is imprisoning them? It is the trauma of climate change that has imprisoned people in their own lives. So you could write something like that. Or if you cannot think of something like that, you could also go for a wonderful data, a quote. You could have started like this. Just last week, there was a statement issued by the United Nations Secretary General, which shook hearts of the people across the globe. He clearly said for the first time that the world has reached a threshold from where either we will cope or there is no hope. It was actually valid. The UN Secretary General had said that about, I think, last year or last to last year, that we have reached a point of time where either people will proceed further, civilization will go ahead, or civilization ends now, because now climate change has reached a limit of saturation. from where escaping is possible no more. Either we can adapt or we die. There's no other solution. So that is also a very moving statement. So any such thing. Or you could also have given a news comment, something you've read in the newspaper, anything about temperature or the heat wave, or maybe even the forest fires, that as I opened the newspaper yesterday, it was soul searing to read how some innocent deers, groups of them, clusters of them, got charred in the forest fires which have caught the dense tropical forest of Uttarakhand very badly. It was really sad to see that people, typically the poor people who are settled in the peripheries of these forests, they are running for their life, leaving behind their land and property, the only things that they probably have, some of which is already taken, it's eaten up by the fire. So it's always true, probably, that any such episode or manifestation of climate change, like it's happening in Uttarakhand forest fire right now, even before a government initiative can rescue people, the people who become victims are either the people who are very poor, or helpless animals, or vulnerable communities. And probably that's also the reason why the rich are not contributing enough to combat climate change, because they never felt the pain of it. And they say, until you feel the pain of something, you would never do anything to change it. So these are certain ways you can start your essay, and this is what I mean by a hook. Is that clear? Comment? Yes, no? So now, in this case, if you are judging the essay, if you are the one who is reading this essay, I'm sure you will get an emotional connect. This hook is about emotional connect. Not only are you making an emotional connect, you are also making the examiner make an emotional connect. And this is very personal. It's your perspective on climate change. Yes, you can do that definitely. There is no word limit in the intro. The essay has a word limit. Intro does not have a word limit. Intro typically, when I write my essays, I break it down in such a way that I fix 500 words for my body, for the essay's body, because body will consume some words. But even if you write a small fake incident, it will not consume more than 2 to 50 words. It will not be that lengthy. Yeah. Essay is anyway your own creativity. Essay is your creativity. It is not about fake or true. Anything that you can write to relate and to explain the problem in intensity, that works here. True. Wonderful. Wonderful. You can write that. But you're mentioning about the city, Jodhpur. You can write about that. No. Data cannot be fake. Now, this is important to remember. A data should never be fake. A quotation cannot be fake, because a data is somebody else's data and a quotation is also somebody else's quotation. That's not correct. But a story, incident, poem, episode can be fake. Experience can be fake. It's your feeling. You can write it anyhow. When you use a small incident that's fake, you can introduce a character. Like I spoke about Raja. Some people adopt another very fascinating strategy. Some toppers have done that too. Suppose in the introduction I talk about Raja, how he lost his life and everything. Again, you bring Raja in the conclusion now. You can again bring him. That if you do something positive to control this climate change, possibly no other Raja will have to lose his life in such a traumatic incident. We can save many more Rajas from losing their families and everything, their own life, their own, you can say, existence could be saved if we do something to combat climate change. That also you can do. Correct. A season that people used to wait for are now becoming a nightmare. Earlier, people would count days on calendar. When shall summer come? A season characterized by variety of fruits, summer vacations, lots of enjoyment, family gathering time has today become a nightmare where people think twice even to step out of their homes. You see, if this is not the ugly side of climate change, then what else could it be? And then we think that climate change is something that we are not related to. We feel that it is not impacting us, but in reality, it has impacted every single human on the planet. There is nobody who can escape from that. The worst part is even those who do not do much to create, you can say, carbon footprint, even they pay a price. That's the worst part. No. You don't have to find the story outside. It always has to be found inside. You just be creative. Everybody has creativity. It's about nurturing that creativity. It takes a little while because of the fear that we had, that we can't write, we don't know how can we write. It will come. Correct. Also, if you think still it's a challenge for you, go with data strategy. Then don't write fictions and stories and incidents. Create your own experience, or you can stick to quote or a data. Here a good strategy would be, you can remember 5 or 6 very very good data and keep it handy. Learn them so that you can use them in your essay. That also you can do. If you cannot make an incident, write a story. That you can give a data. That's correct. Valid point. That's such a beautiful story that you've written. That, a child who doesn't even know how to spell climate change, a child who doesn't even know what is climate change, is also a victim of climate change. You see, what a paradox. And that was beautiful. That was so creative. You see, that's how you begin. Now, similarly, yes, you have the freedom to write in the first person. Correct. In essay, you can use I, my. You can use the first person. It's your essay. It's a very personal write up. You can do that. Apart from that, if the topic was woman empowerment, then you could have written another story. Radha was a call center worker in Delhi. She used to work day in and day night. She was a very hard working person because she had to support her old sick parents. There was no other male earning member in the family. So Radha was the picture of women empowerment, really, because she saved money, got her parents treated. Now she was also planning to build them a house. Then what? The other day when she was coming back from a call center, she used to work as a night shift worker. She sat in the cab and she does remember that the cab driver was giving her very uncomfortable looks. But after that, everything went dark. Radha doesn't know anything now. She doesn't know anything. Everything is vacuum. When she opens her eyes, she's in a hospital. She doesn't know how many days and weeks have passed and what has happened to her. And later, somebody told her, the doctors told her she was hit very badly by something on her head. And then she was groped and harassed by a couple of people. Today, she is here, lying in absolute vacuum. She doesn't know whether she can resume a normal life. She doesn't know what she's been through. The trauma of mental agony is too much for her to feel even the physical agony. Her parents, whom she was taking care of, are sitting today by her side, holding her hands, just shedding tears in despair. And they are guilty of having sent her to work. Is that the reason for low female labor rate participation in India? Radha is not alone. There are so many women who work, who want to work, but then this is what comes in between: unsafe environment and workplace harassment, crime. A very good story which you relate to women empowerment. So you can do that also. Correct. So yeah, all these stories keep coming in the newspaper. It's not like, yeah, she's suffering without any fault of hers. Or you can write about any other woman. You can write a very interesting story that in my college there was a Women's Day celebration party, and everyone was cutting a cake. People were dressed up in a very fancy way. There was loud music and the celebration was full swing. And there, at the other end of the hall, there was a lady about 80 years of age who was picking up plates and cleaning everything, too weak to bend, but still brooming and cleaning the waste that people were just throwing around carelessly. What does women empowerment mean to her? A woman who has to come for informal work, physical labor every day in this age, because probably there is nobody. There is probably no scheme of the government or nobody in the family to support her. So is women empowerment also a myth? Is it an illusion that some people celebrate, and there are some people who still are untouched by that? You can write that also. That would be very good. Apart from that, any other NCRB data you can use, that also works. Correct. Absolutely. Now, similarly, this is the intro of the issue based topic which I just told you, right? What comes after intro? Once you are done with the intro, now is the time you have to write a small, simple, and your own original definition of the topic. For example, if the topic is the use of artificial intelligence in various dimensions of life and the challenges associated with that, give a simple definition. We don't need a definition from Google or some book. Make it casual. Artificial intelligence, what is it according to you? So, according to you, artificial intelligence would be the use of technology, robotics, machine learning applications into various domains of life. It could be from education to healthcare, it could be from agriculture, it could be, it could be anything, internet of things or daily use products. Definitely, while on the one hand, AI is making life simple for a lot of people, it's adding convenience to life. On the other hand, it is posing a grave danger of dehumanization. Today, the fear that one day the world shall be ruled by robots is becoming near and near and nearer. It's becoming nearer day by day as robots are assuming sophistication and humans are becoming robots in the modern urbanized life of today. That's a wonderful way you can start and give a definition. Any definition. Climate change means the series of climate related episodes. It could be in the form of heat wave or glacial ice melting or marine pollution, coral bleaching, to loss of diverse biodiversity, which are all associated with anthropogenic actions, or they are all man-made eventually. And today they are impacting our lives in a very deep way. Women empowerment, the dilemma whether today in our country women have the power, the authority to determine their own life, to take decisions regarding work, education, and marriage, or are they still being governed by stereotypical notions that are coming from larger society? So this practically is women empowerment, whether they have the power to do this or not. Simple definition, we don't need any technical definition. Third step is data, but this is an optional step. If you know any data related to this topic, please, this is the place to write it. For example, after you write the story, after you write the definition, now you can give a small data. According to NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau, in 2020, every day there were 3,600 calls just in the area of New Delhi, where women were constantly calling and complaining about being domestically abused in their own families. Any other data that you can find. It could be a WHO data. WHO says that today in developing countries, particularly in Asian countries, 65% women have no access to primary health care. Is that good? Last step is the thread. A thread is a wire, a connectivity which is used to fix one part to the other. The last part of the introduction, in that, in one line, in one sentence, you will say, what are you going to write in the essay? It is very critical part of an essay. It connects the introduction to the body. Otherwise, it looks very haphazard and broken. So here you will write, in the upcoming essay, in this writer, in the ensuing essay, let's have a look at certain causes responsible for climate change, and let's look at certain dangerous consequences with which it comes, with which it has come. Or in the upcoming ensuing essay, we will see and analyze the problem of women empowerment from various dimensions. We will see when it began, how does it impact women economically, socially, politically, and can we have certain solutions to that? Whatever you want to write, it's your wish, just mention in one line. There your introduction ends. And this is the intro of issue-based topic. Is that clear? Just this much for today. Introduction for philosophy, I am not taking today. I will take on Monday because it is almost similar, but you need slightly different mentality because that is not issue-based. Thread. Thread means what comes ahead. It's like a trailer. When you go to see a movie, you want to see a trailer to decide whether it fascinates you or not. Before you start with a body, you have to tell a small thread. Example of a thread. Okay, let me continue with the story on climate change about Raja, that guy who lost everything. Then I give a data on climate change, and now my thread comes. After giving definition and data, fourth step, I will say, in the ensuing write-up, ensuing means the one that is written below, or simply in this essay, I would like to discuss various causes which I feel have been responsible majorly for such climate crisis across various hilly states in India. We shall also mention, or it is also appropriate to see what consequences are poor communities facing because of that, full stop. In the thread, you will not write conclusion, anything about conclusion. Conclusion is a fresh chapter. It will not be mentioned before you reach this point. No. For GS answers, you can't follow this pattern. For GS answers, you have to focus only on body more. Intro, only definition will come in GS answer. Nothing else will come, only definition or data. This hook and all, nothing is needed, no thread is needed. Only body and one line conclusion. That's very scientific. This is very descriptive. This is a different thing. You have to write in your own words. Definition will be in your own words, not anybody else's word. Whatever you can, whatever, in whichever way you can define the topic, go ahead, do that. Correct. In the thread, you will just write what is coming ahead. It's a trailer to the essay. It's like a preface to the essay, like a preamble to the essay. Yes, you can definitely underline. 100%. You can underline, you can highlight, you can do whatever you want. Unless it is looking good, it is no. It should be neat, that's all. This is the intro of your issue based topic. In every essay, you will do that. Before you start, go to the rough work, write HDDT, now fill it up. Your work becomes easy. You don't have to think how to start, how to end, all of that. Okay. Data example, in the data we can drawing, unless it's a flow chart or unless it's a diagram, avoid avoid. It should be as descriptive and as flowy and as narrative as possible. Data example can be according to uh, say for example World Bank, the financial losses which various Asian governments have had in combating the losses of climate change have exceeded $1 billion in just the period from 2017 to 2021. That's a date. No, you can draw, you can avoid also. The more you write, the better. In GS answers, drawing is a better strategy because it is more practical. This is not much practical work. This is more of expression. So if it's necessary to show something, you can draw. But otherwise, it's best to write and avoid. Very good story. You can build on that story beautifully. A woman getting married against her wishes because of stereotypical society. Correct. Introduction normally which should end by around 250 words. In certain cases, it can go to 300 words also. It's appropriate. The general rule, a protocol that is followed is that there should always be a gap of 200 words, which means body should always be 200 words more than intro. So intro can be 300 also, intro can be 250 also. Typically, it is advisable to write both. If you don't know data, skip it. But definition is important. Yeah, I will discuss all the PYQs. Without discussing PYQs, we can't do this lecture. I have to discuss all the PYQs with you. I will do everything, but right now, let me teach you how to write an intro. Today, we have learned the intro of issue based topic. Monday, we will learn the intro of philosophy based topic. And then I will first, body we will do in the on Wednesday, I think, not before that, because after that, I will show you certain examples that have come in 2018, 2021, 2017, and then we will pick up them and try to make intros on them. Right? We'll do that. No. Thread has to be very neutral. That's a good question you asked me. A thread should be very neutral. Don't write anything. Just tell what is coming forward. It is a connectivity line between, it's a communication between body and intro. Otherwise, it becomes very broken book. Create a flow. I'll talk about it on Monday. Let me have a look at certain books because I don't know much about public administration, but I can have a look and get back to you. Correct? So now I'll end the class here because I don't want to pick up philosophy today. Now you're okay. As a part of your takeaway, as a part of your homework, what you can do is that whatever we learned today about essay, just try to remember, recall all of that. Please learn the format HDDT, learn the entire format because you have it with you. And whatever intro we have discussed for issue based essays, please learn it by heart. You should know the format, just the short form HDDT, then filling up comes later, but please learn the format. So today we'll take around 5 to 6 classes. This lecture is 5 to 6 classes in total. Today was the first one. Next is on Monday evening. Tomorrow morning I'll take the CSAT last batch. Last lecture for the ongoing batch. Is that okay? I'll talk about uploading. It's not in my hands, but I'll talk about. Look here. Okay, I'm looking at you. Tell me. I can't look at you, but I can look at the camera. Yes, tell. What is it? Okay, we can discuss that someday. I'm not very sure about public administration. It is totally out of my ambit. But if I find something useful, I'll get back to you. Sure. I will talk about the timetable also, uploading issue also. I did call up. I couldn't get a response. No, you don't have to write a thread in the conclusion. A thread will only be there in the introduction. Okay, I didn't answer your question. Can you please repost your question? I'm apologetic for having missed your question. Please repost it, please. Definition: take up any random topic and try to define it in your own words. Climate change: can you define climate change? Women empowerment: can you define technology? Can you define, say for that matter, pollution, air toxicity? That's all. In your own words, whatever you think it is. It means air becoming unsuitable for breathing, air becoming such that there are so many toxins in it that it could impact human health in a very casual way. It is not like a written somebody else's or an official definition, your definition. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll talk about that also. But I didn't see your question only. For Hyderabad, I have no information right now. So I do whatever my manager tells me. I'm not the boss. Wherever they send, I'll come. Okay. You can take anything that you prefer. If you think it's a boon, you write it for boon. If you think it's a bane, feel free to write it's a bane. You can't write both. Also, to make a balance between pros and cons, also we'll talk about that in the next classes. Yes, definitely we'll meet up that time. You're not creating more sentences. Then it's an IBQ, correct. You didn't understand the hook. Okay, I'll come back to it on Monday and explain you the hook again. Pakka, I'll do that. Anyways, we revise every time. Yes, you can use poem in the intro. Valid. You can do that. Thank you so much for all your kind comments. If still I've missed anybody's question, do forgive me. I missed it by mistake, not deliberately. It was not at all deliberate. You can absolutely Monday we can discuss that. Yeah, please. We'll finish it now. Hook I'll talk about again on Monday. Book issue, it's not in my hands really, but I will raise a ticket nonetheless. I'll teach you how to practice essay. Don't worry about the essay. Essay you worry after these classes. Till then, let me worry, you relax. Yeah, there were some problems, but now they will be conducted regularly. Don't you worry. Don't worry. Spelling mistakes. Okay, that also comes by practice. But how to avoid spelling mistakes? Okay, we can also take up that discussion in between one of the lectures. Hook, I'll come back to. Okay, sure. I'll take your leave now. And yeah. No, not quants. I'm only taking class for comprehension. You can get printouts of the PPT. That you can do. Hard copy, I don't think they give, but you can take a printout. You want my mail ID? You can have my mail ID. Yes, I will talk about that. I don't know about webinars right now, but when I call them about the technical glitch, I'll ask them and I'll post you on Monday about it. Okay, so now I'll take your kind leave. Have a very happy weekend. Please remember what all we studied so far. No. Don't blame yourself. Everything comes with practice. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay? We'll discuss many more things in the upcoming sessions. For now, I'll take your leave. Have a good weekend. Work hard. Stay curious. Stay happy. Take care. See you Monday. Best wishes to you. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. Monday, we'll come and continue with way more interesting things to come. Okay. Take care and bye bye. For the emails, if I get them, I'll paka reply. If there's an issue, I don't get them, then what can I do? Okay. So I'll reply if I get them. Else, we'll discuss on Monday. Good night.